Welcome, geometry students, to the homework help video, page 236. And all of the numbers that you see here in front of you. Have your books open, please. Have your homework out. And have your pencils, calculators out, everything else that you need. Please be ready to work hard. And if you're watching the entire video to help you with your homework, that's totally fine. I recommend you try it all on your own first, but that's up to you. Let's go ahead and get started. If you'll look in the book, please, at page 236, numbers 14 through 20, you'll see that the directions say, determine whether the angles or sides are corresponding angles, corresponding sides, or neither. So let's go ahead and start off with number 14, angles M and S. Well, here's M, and here's S. Notice angle M has 2 slashes. Notice angle S has 2 slashes. So we would say that angles M and S are definitely corresponding angles. Moving on to number 15, angles L and R. Now those are obviously not corresponding angles. This angle here has 1 mark, and this angle here has 3 marks. So these angles are not corresponding angles. Number 16, side MN. I'm going to highlight it for you here in red. Side MN and side ST. Now, would you please look carefully at those two sides? ST has 1 slash, MN has 3 slashes. So no, they are not corresponding sides. Let's take a look at number 17. Side LM and TS. Now that's a little more like it. This side has 1 slash, this side has 1 slash. So yes, they are definitely corresponding sides. All right? That means they go together. All right? Number 18, sides RT. So here's RT and LN. Now notice RT has 2 marks. Notice LN has 2 slashes. So yes, these two sides are definitely corresponding sides. They do go together. Number 19, angles N and R. Here's N, here's R. Notice N has 3 slashes. Notice R has 3 slashes. That means they're congruent angles. So yes, angles N and R are corresponding angles. All right? Now let's go ahead and move on and take a look at number 20. The directions for number 20 say, determine which of the following is a correct congruent statement for the triangles in exercises 14 through 19, or in other words, these two triangles right here. Now, the first option they give us for option A, if you'll look in your book, you'll see it's triangle LNM congruent to RTS. Well, let's compare the angles. Is L, here's L right here, is L, or excuse me, R, angles L and R corresponding? L and R, no they're not. L has 1 slash, R has 3. So that's not going to work. We know right away that is not the correct congruent statement. Let's take a look at option B in your book. Option B is triangle NML congruent to triangle RST. Well, let's see. Let's start with N and R. Are they corresponding? Well, it looks like they are. N has 3 slashes, R has 3 slashes. So far, so good. Angle M and angle S. Let's see if they're corresponding. Yep, we're looking pretty good. 2 slashes here for M and 2 slashes for S. So last should be L and T. And look at that, L and T. All right. So there we go. The answer would be B. This is the proper congruence statement. All right. Let's continue on to numbers 21 through 33, the odds. And let's take a look at number 21. Notice that these two angles are congruent, and that's given to us in the directions. It says triangle LMN is congruent to triangle PQR. So angle R is congruent to what angle? Well, here's angle R. It has 2 slashes, and angle N has 2 slashes. So angle R is congruent to angle N. Okay? Let's take a look at number 23. Angle RPQ. So we start with R, we go to P, and then down to Q. So we're talking about this angle right here. Does everybody see that? Start with R, go to P, go to Q. So we are dealing with this angle right here. Notice it has 3 slashes. So please find the angle over here that has 3 slashes. It's right here. So you could put one of 2 angles. You could put congruent to angle L. That would be sufficient. Or you could say angle MLN, or you could say angle NLM. As long as L is in the middle, that's the main thing that you need. Okay? Hope that makes sense. Let's move on to number 25. Angle MNL. So here's M, then we go to N, and then we go to L. So it's this angle right here. Okay? So we are trying to find out what angle over here is congruent to this angle here. Now notice this angle here has 2 slashes. 1, 2. What angle over here has 2 slashes? This angle here. So we can state, and you know what? I think I actually read this wrong, and I apologize. Let me go back a page. I hope I didn't mess up the other ones. Let's see. That was angle, and that was angle. Good. This says triangle, and I apologize for misreading that. So triangle MNL is congruent to triangle blank. Well, notice the first letter's M, and it has 1 slash. So the angle over here with 1 slash is Q. So Q must come first. Notice the second letter in this triangle is N. And of course, N has 2 slashes. So which angle over here has 2 slashes in this triangle? Angle R. So R comes second. And then last we have L. L is right here with 3 slashes. And the angle over here with 3 slashes is P. So triangle MNL is congruent to triangle QRP. Moving on to number 27. The directions for 27, 29, and 31 state, determine whether the congruent statement correctly describes the congruent triangles shown in the necklace. Okay? So let's go ahead and see if we can figure this out. Now, I'm supposing they want us to use a little common sense here. So what I need to do is I need to go ahead and mark the congruent angles, like this angle here is going to be congruent to this angle, and this angle here is going to be congruent to this angle. So 2 slashes. And then this angle here will be congruent to this angle here. All right? So we're probably going to copy that one over and over, I believe, and use this one. But anyways, triangle FGH is congruent to triangle NML. Well, notice F is first, F has 3 slashes, N is first, N has 3 slashes. G is second, it has 1 slash, M is second, it has 1 slash, H has 2 slashes, L has 2 slashes. So for 27, yes, that is the exact way, that is one of the ways to write that these two triangles are congruent. Number 29, let's quickly mark our angles. It really doesn't matter as long as we match up the corresponding angle with the corresponding angle, that's all that matters. So there, I've drawn it again. Now, triangle GHF is congruent to triangle MLN. Let's see. First angle is G, has 2 marks. Second angle is M, and it has 2 marks. The second angle here is H. H has 1 mark. Second over here is L. L has 1 mark. The third angle here is F. It has 3 marks. The third angle over here is N. It has 3 marks. So yes, this is a proper congruent statement. And then very quickly, let's take a look at number 31. Notice I'm very careful to match corresponding angles with corresponding angles when I put these slashes. Okay, it's very important that we do this correctly. All right, let's see. Triangle HGF is congruent to triangle LNM. Well, H comes first. H has one slash. L comes first. L has one slash. So far, so good. G has two slashes. N has three. This is not right. Angle number 2, G, has 2 marks. Second angle over here, N, has 3 marks. So the answer is no. This is not a right congruent statement. All right, let's continue on now to number 33. The directions for 33 state the triangles are congruent. Identify all pairs of corresponding parts and then write a congruent statement. Well, this might be a little long, but it's still very easy. Let's start off with the angles very quickly. All right, so let's write congruent angles. Well, angle Q is congruent to angle T. Angle R is congruent to angle U. And angle P is congruent to angle S. Now, does everybody see how I did that? I noticed Q had one slash and T had one slash. Angle R has two slashes, angle U has two slashes, etc., etc. Now, the sides are a little more difficult, so be careful here, okay? Actually, they're not because they're marked for you, so actually it's pretty easy. Side QR and TU both have one slash, so I'm going to say QR is congruent to TU. And then notice that PQ has two slashes and ST has two slashes. So I can say PQ is congruent to ST. All right? And then this side here, PR has 3 slashes, SU has 3 slashes. So I can state that PR is congruent to SU. So that's all they wanted you to do. They just wanted you to list out the congruent parts. Okay, now that we've done that, let's go ahead and write a congruent statement. And there's more than one answer. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I'm going to say triangle QRP is congruent to triangle TUS. Now I knew that because Q and T both have one slash, R and U both have two slashes, and P and S both have 3 slashes. Now look, if you turn this around and you did this, if you put R first and then P and then Q, and over here you went U first, S second, and T last, that's fine. Because again, R is congruent to U, P is congruent to S, and Q is congruent to T. So there's more than one way to write a congruent statement. And I'm not going to list all of those ways out for you, but there is more than just one way. All right, let's continue on now to number 37. All right, the directions for 37 through 40 say, using congruent triangles, answer the following questions, 37, 38, 39, and 40. All right, so we are told in the directions that these two triangles are congruent. Okay, so they want us to find the length of DF. Well, here's DF right here. And I'm going to go ahead and write what they have in the directions. It's very important you see this. In the directions, they state ABC is congruent to DEF. Now, here's why it's important that you look at this. You really shouldn't just look at the picture given to you and try to figure out which sides go with which. You can do that sometimes, and I know we did it earlier on the necklace problem right over here, but that's not the normal thing to do. Really, you want to look at what's given and go from that. So here's our given right here, and we're trying to find the length of DF. Now notice here's D and here's F. That means DF corresponds with side AC. Well, here's AC. It's 5, so then we know that DF also has to be 5. And I know the answers are here in front of you, but we need to know why they are what they are. Next, they're asking us to find the measure of angle B. Now, here's angle B right here in the middle. Let's come over here and notice that angle E is in the middle. So B and E are congruent. The measure of angle E is 100 degrees. So that means the measure of angle B must also be 100 degrees. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and try the next problem. And again, I'm going to list these out for you every time because we need to see this. So triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. And I'm going to quickly copy that so we can have this for the next two problems. Okay, here we go. They want us to find the length of AB. So I come down here and I notice here's AB. So that means DE is the side that corresponds with AB. So DE is right here. Notice it has a length of 14. So that means AB must also have a length of 14. Do you see how I'm doing this, students? I'm very meticulous here in making sure that my corresponding sides are matching up with corresponding sides. It's very, very important. Next, they want us to find the measure of angle F. So I come down here and I notice angle F is the last angle listed in this congruent statement. So I come over here and I notice C is the last angle that's listed. So I know angle C is congruent to angle F. And here's angle C right here. It's 39 degrees. So that means angle F is also 39 degrees. Okay, number 39. There's our congruent statement. And let's see what they want us to do. Find the length of AB. I notice AB is right here, my first two letters. So I go over here and I notice my first two letters are DE. So I know right away that AB is congruent to DE. Now here's DE. It's 6. And so I know that side AB must also have a length of 6. Now let's take a look at our angles. We are told to find the measure of angle F. Notice F is your last angle listed. Notice C is your last angle listed over here. So we know that C is congruent to F. Notice angle C is 50 degrees. So we know angle F would also be 50 degrees. I hope you're really paying attention and learning. Last problem, and we're finished. Here's our congruent statement right here. And we are asked to find the length of BC. So here's BC. Notice it's the last two letters. So I understand that BC corresponds with EF. So I know that BC is congruent to EF. So I come over here and I look for EF. Here it is. Notice it has a length of 5. So BC must also have a length of 5. Okay? Now we're also asked to find the measure of angle D. And here's D right here. Notice it's the first letter in the triangle DEF. So I come over here and I notice A is the first letter. So I know that angle A is congruent to angle D. Angle A is congruent to angle D. Well, here's angle A right here. Notice it's 27 degrees. So angle D would also be 27 degrees. I hope this homework help video has been a help to you. Please continue to work hard and be sure and call or email if you have any questions.